Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock. It's time for another video. And today I've got one of my favorite videos of the whole year. Because it's Christmas, we are doing the best tricks of 2022. Now, every year I do one of these best trick lists. And every year it's really difficult to pick out what the top 10 tricks are in that year. This is no exception. There's been some incredible tricks coming out this year. There's been some awesome releases. Yes, there's been some terrible tricks, and we have a separate video for that coming. However, honestly, there's been some great tricks, and I went back and forth for about 2 hours putting this list together, trying to decide what the best 10 tricks are in 2022. This is the list that I think. It's only my opinion, doesn't make it right. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. So if you agree with me, let me know. If you disagree with me, let me know. But I'm going to get straight into it. So without further ado, here we go. The top 10 tricks of 2022. Okay, I do want to point out that I'm not including any of my tricks in this list. I don't think that would be fair. So there's no tricks that I've been a part of or I've created or anything like that that are included in this list. I need to point that out because in 10th position, I have The Boombox by Andrew Niner. Now, technically, I was on the project because Penguin asked me to create a lot of the routines with the boombox and to present the project. But it's not my trick, it's Andrew Niner. And since filming the boombox project, I've got to know Andrew Niner a little bit better. And honestly, I think he's one of the most creative people on the planet. And I see big things coming his way in 2023. I think that you're going to be seeing a lot more of Andrew Niner. Now, when the Boombox came out, Parsons Box came out at the same time by David Rocket, and it was kind of an illusionist versus Penguin thing, and it was a bit kind of all over the place. I stand by what I said in the initial review, which is I think Boombox is a lot better for many, many different reasons. What we have here, in essence, is a switching device that's built into a normal-looking card box. So you have a perfectly normal-looking card box. It fits a full deck of cards, but it allows you to switch X amount of cards for X amount of cards whenever you want. And there's so many different applications and so many different ways that you can actually use this. For example, you could just do it to clean up a packet trick. So you could have a deck of cards that you've taken out of the box. You do whatever routines that you want to do. Then you take out a couple of cards. The box switches them for a packet for gimmick cards. You do the packet trick, and then you can switch them back again. Because the thing with the boombox is you can go back and forth. You can switch over and over and over again right in front of the audience. Now, the other thing is that the system that's actually designed with the boombox allows this to be locking. Which was one of the big advantages over the Parsons box. This is a locking box. So in other words, you can lock it when you need it to. So if you don't want to switch anything or you vanish something or whatever the case may be, then it's locked until you need it. It's genius, really. The construction of it Andrew has put together is so good. It's very, very simple, but don't overlook the simplicity, because even though it is very simple, it's devious. And I had such a blast coming up with routines for this project. And in reality, I probably created about 10 or 15 routines, and I think we whittled it down to like 10 or something like that. And one of my favorite any card at any numbers to perform is on the Boombox project. So on the Boombox project, I've put an any card at any number, which I just love performing, and I perform it all of the time, and you see a live performance on there. It's such a great trick, it really is. But there's a card to box, which is incredibly fooling. There's a drawing duplication called Doodle, where the spectator takes a business card and randomly draws a line on it, and you put it into a box, and then just honestly, you duplicate the doodle on another card. Everything seems so fair. It's a really awesome trick. Really, or I don't want to call it a trick. In essence, it's not really a trick. In essence, what we have here is a utility device. And although it's got a whole bunch of really cool routines on, I know because I created them, although it's got live performances of some of the routines, which it has, What you have here is really a utility device which you can take and you can create your own routines. And I've seen some of the stuff that various different people have created with the boombox, including Chris James, who's another person to watch in 2023. There's so much that you can do with this, and I think super creative people are going to come up with some incredible ideas with this, which is why it's on the list. At the end of the day, it's a utility device that you can throw your cards in. If you want to use it, you can. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to, but it's there when you need it. It's great. If you haven't got one, it's very reasonably priced. Go and pick it up from Penguin Magic. It's called Boombox by Andrew Niner. Okay, so in 9th place, we talked about Illusionist earlier on. We're going to talk about them again now because this is an Illusionist release. This is To The Point by Mark Lemon. Now, To The Point is a really cool mind-reading device that allows you to do an awful lot. Basically, what you have is... Mark has created a pointer book, which is a real thing. You can actually get them from shops. What it is, it's a book with lots and lots of different images in it. And the idea is that you would go to a foreign country where you don't speak the language and they don't speak the language, and you could open up to the necessary page. And if you wanted a toilet, for example, you could point to toilets and they would be able to tell you where to go. It's an actual thing that you can carry around with you. It's called a pointer book. Well, what Mark has done and the team of Illusionists have done is they've taken that pointer concept and have created a series of routines around it. Now, there's so much to like about this. First of all, Mark Lemon is very clever. He's a very clever guy, and the tutorial is great. He goes through everything with a fine-tooth comb. He leaves nothing out. Everything's great. Second of all, the quality of the books are great. I say books because you get 2 books. You get an ungimmicked and a gimmicked book. Now, in all honesty, if you're doing this walk around, you only need the gimmicked book. You can just take the gimmicked book out and it looks good. They could just flick through it and they wouldn't see a problem. And if you want to do this as a walk around piece, it fits into a pocket very, very easily. You can take it out and you can do some very clever direct mind reading with it. However, one of the really good uses for it is for a tossed out book style test, kind of like a Hoy tossed out deck, but with this book. So you can literally stand on stage, throw the book out into the audience, have somebody look at an image, have somebody else look at an image, have somebody else look at an image, have somebody else look at an image. They can open up anywhere they want to, and then you can do a tossed out deck style routine where you can actually get them to sit down one at a time, and you can actually incorporate the Wayne Dobson tossed out deck style presentation, which for me is the best way to present a tossed out deck, and you can actually incorporate it into this book. And that's what I've been doing. I've been using this for the best part of about 6 months now in my cabaret shows and my parlor shows, and it kills. It's rare to see a trick that will work walk around and also work on stage, but this is one of those routines that works walk around and it also works on stage. It's very quick, but you can also extend it out if you want to. There's so many different ways to present this. There's so many different ways to perform it, and it'll last a long time. I've probably done it the best part of about 80 or 90 times now, and the books look fantastic. It's one of the best new mentalism concepts I've seen. It definitely deserves the place on this list. In 9th position, we've got To The Point by Mark Lemon and Illusionist. Okay, so in 8th position, we have Imagine by Peter and Harry Nardi and Alakazam Magic. Now, what is Imagine? Imagine basically is a reimagining of the mental photography deck. Now, if you don't know what the mental photography deck is, it's one of those decks where you show it as blank and then it becomes printed, right? Well, what Imagine is they've taken that concept, combined it with a few other principles, and created a powerhouse of a routine around it. So the basic idea is that you can bring, well, there's lots of different ways of performing it, but one of my favorite ways of performing it is to just literally have somebody pick a card, bring out a deck of cards, have somebody pick a card, and then immediately you're looking away and you can tell them what the card is they thought of. It's that clean, it's that direct, and it's that powerful. Now, you can do that over and over again. So if you're performing walk around and you've got a group of people, or you're performing for a big table in like a banquet style situation, you can get lots of people to think of cards, and they can all think of different cards. It's a different card every single time, and you can tell them what the card is. immediately with no fishing and without them writing it down and without them taking out the deck. Now, the other thing about this deck of cards is they've all got different back designs, right? Which is kind of really interesting. All of the backs are different, and you talk about how you made a deck up from your favorite cards and you're going to show them something with it. And then when you've done this, and you can do this as long as you want to, you've then got this incredible moment where the entire deck turns blank and the entire deck is blank now. And it's such a great kicker ending, and it follows the first phase really well. And I combine this with my quantum deck. So I do that, and I turn the deck blank. But before I turn the deck blank, I have one last person pick a card, and they think of a card. The deck's turned blank. I put it down in front of them, and I have them name a number. And when they do, I deal down to that number, and their card is at that position in the deck, and everything at that point is examinable. Now, as well as that routine, there's lots of other ways that you can use the Imagine deck as well. You can do more of a traditional style, mental photography style routine, but the hook of having all of the cards with different backs is great. Harry and Peter really knocked it out of the park with this one. This is one of my favorite Alakazam tricks of the year. Not my favorite, but it's one of my favorite Alakazam tricks of the year. It definitely deserves to be on the list. It's really, really good. And if you haven't checked it out, it is a real working routine. I think that's the most important thing about this. It's a routine that works in the real world, and it is great. So go and pick it up. You won't be disappointed. Okay, so in seventh position, we have Shrapnel by Kim Anderson and Murphy's Magic. Now, Shrapnel, I remember the first time I saw Shrapnel, it was at the Blackpool Magic Convention. I was at the Blackpool Magic Convention. I'd never really met Kim Anderson before. I met him. He showed me this. Lloyd Barnes told me that I needed to watch it. I watched it, and I was completely blown away. Even though I knew the original linking pins, this had taken it to an entire other level. And he was walking around the Ruskin showing this to people over and over again and just blowing their minds. I mean, literally blowing their minds, and for good reason. This is such a great trick. It's a multi-phase routine where you can do all of the phases if you want to, or you can miss phases out. It's totally up to you, but each phase looks incredibly strong, just as strong as the one before it, with pins linking onto rings and borrowed rings, and that moment where you just do this and it picks it up off the hand. It looks just as good in real life as it does on video. The hilarious thing is I've seen so many TikTok magicians, I've seen so many social media magicians do it because it looks so good, but likewise, it's something that you can do on stage, it's something that you can do in the real world and also get a great reaction from. Now, I think that Kim Anderson is one of the best magicians on the planet right now. I think he's a creative powerhouse, and I think that he's really added something to the linking pins routine. Linking pins has been around forever, and it's one of those routines that you kind of think, is there any way that you can actually improve it? And then when you see what he's done with the ring and he's done with the pin, it's just been massively improved. And I love that you have everything in the box. You have the little tin that you need. You have everything. You are good to go. No arts and craft, no nothing. You're good to go. And the multiple live performances really help the project as well. The tutorial leaves no stone uncovered. Everything about this trick is top quality. And again, the bottom line is I'm a working magician. I go out and gig all of the time. So when I like something, it's probably because I think it's practical and it's commercial and it's something that will work in the real world. And this is a perfect example of something that absolutely works in the real world. Shrapnel by Kim Anderson, it's great. Okay, so in sixth position, we have Color Match by Anne Verdi and Murphy's Magic. So this is another Murphy's item. Color Match is, look, I'm not going to get into the politics of Pro Mystic versus Murphy's. I'm not going to get into who has the rights, who doesn't have the rights. This is an argument for another video. The bottom line is I'm a big fan of Pro Mystic. I'm a big fan of Craig Filichetti. I'm a big fan of Murphy's and their Anne Verdi range. I think that their version of Color Match is better than the Pro Mystic version. I think that Pro Mystic are great, and I think a lot of their products are good, and I can make this decision based on the fact that I have done, and Ryland has done, the original Color Match for years, and have more than once had a huge problem on stage because of an issue I've had because of it. I've been doing Color Match, this Color Match, Murphy's colour match, and Ryland has, since we got it a few months ago, and we've never had an issue. Ryland does it in every show. I do it very, very regularly. Neither one of us has had an issue. The tutorial is so good. Javier goes through everything with a fine-tooth comb. He leaves nothing out, nothing uncovered. You learn everything. It's like a 2 or 3 hour tutorial. There's routines and ideas there from some very clever magicians. I've put some stuff on there, including an any card at any number, which I think is really awesome. But there's so many tricks and ideas and concepts that go beyond just the colouring in of stuff. And I think the tutorial alone makes this a much better product. But when you factor in the fact that you don't need a magnet near it to activate it, which is where all the problems came from when I was using the Pro Mystic version, and instead it's working on almost like a gravity sensor, even though it's not, then the product is just brilliant. And I can't believe that they've done it at the price that they have. And I remember reading reviews at the time, and they go, oh, you buy it and it's going to go wrong in about a month or two. I've been using this for almost a year. Ryland's been using it for 6 months. He's been using it since he did the review, or just before. I was working with this like 6 months before the review, which is why I contributed a whole bunch of routines for the project. This has been working absolutely fine. We've never had an issue. Colour match is brilliant. I would highly recommend it. It's great for walk around because you don't need any receptacle or anything. You can literally just have the pens in your pocket, throw them on the table, and you're good to go. So it's great for walk around, but it's equally good for stage. It's just an incredible prop. You can get it from all good dealers. It's a Murphy's item. It's by Anne Verdi. It's called Colour Match. In 5th place, we have Overdraft by Paul Fowler and the 1914. Now, Paul is a relatively new name in the magic world. He's not been around, really, but I have a feeling that you're going to be seeing a lot more of him in 2020. Excuse me. I think you're going to be seeing an awful lot more of him in 2023. And the reason is this product, Overdraft, is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It's super simple when you think about it. What we have here are coin gimmicks applied to credit cards. It's a very, very simple concept. And this sort of thing has been touched on before. But what really makes this concept marketable and what really makes this such a great product is the tutorial that Paul and the 1914 have put together. You see multiple live performances of Paul doing this on the streets. You can tell that he has faith in his own product. And then he's got a whole bunch of different routines that you can do with this as well. He's got pseudo pickpocketing routines. He's got pseudo credit card cloning routines. He's got ways of doing this and having it examinable beforehand and afterwards. He's got so many different applications, including the one where you make money appear. There's so many different ways that you can do this. This is a really great product. I really like this. I know from speaking to Dee Christopher at the 1914 that they went back and forth several times trying to find the right material in order to produce these gimmicks, and it wasn't an easy thing to do, and it took them a long while to get to the point where they were actually marketing it, and it was worth the research and development because the cards that come with it, the gimmicked cards, look amazing. I love Paul's approach to it, that they're prepaid credit cards that you can get in shops, because that completely covers the fact that your name's not on it. Like, you can tell that he's worked this a million times and he's thought it through, and it's a really strong trick. It is, for me, the 5th best trick of 2022, and in all honesty, it's an ultimate everyday carry, because you can just throw these into your wallet and you're good to go. I've got 3 sets of these. I've got one in each wallet that I use, and Ryland's got a set as well. I don't go anywhere without having Overdraft with me, and it's become a big player both in walk around, impromptu, and also in table magic. It's great, and there's so many different options in terms of the way you can go with it. And when you combine Overdraft with an Orphic wallet, man, the opportunities are completely limitless. So there you go. It's the 5th best trick of 2022. It's called Overdraft. It's by Paul Fowler and the 1914. Okay, so in 4th place we have Laced Up by Donovan Mount. Now this is relatively new. In fact, as of the time of me filming this, the review that we've given this hasn't even gone live. And when I did the review on the Craig and Ryland review show, I didn't do a live performance. Oh no, I did it as a review show special, that's right. I didn't do it as a live performance, and the reason is I was waiting for shoes to be delivered in order to gimmick those shoes up and be able to do this routine. Well, having now done that and managed to get my shoes and gone and performed it, the reactions are just incredible. This is just completely different to anything else that's out there. This is just completely off the charts weird. You know, you see a lot of tricks that are coming out, and a lot of them are card tricks or coin tricks or stuff like that. This is something that you can literally adapt your shoes for, and once they're adapted, you're good to do this anytime, anywhere. I've done this now at 2 walk around gigs, and I'm getting screams when I do this. I want to work out a way of incorporating this into a stage routine as well. I think this is brilliant. It's such a great trick. Donovan Mount, never heard of him before, but I think he's going to be a big player in the next year or two. I think that if he's got other ideas like this is just brilliant. And the material that comes with it is great. As it's a Penguin item, as you can imagine, the instructions and everything are really clear as well. It's great. It's called Laced Up. It's by Donovan Mount. It is one of the best tricks of 2022. Okay, so now we're up to top 3, and in third place we have Lightyear by Kyle Purnell and Penguin Magic. Now, I did a review show special on Lightyear, and I remember saying at the time that this is one of those tricks that's just very, very special, that comes along once in a blue moon. And that's what this is. This is such creative thinking by Kyle. And I don't know many people that could have come up with this other than Kyle Purnell. Like, you could have locked me in a room for 100 years with the gimmicks that are needed in order to perform this, and I would not have a clue. I wouldn't even... I don't even know how he came up with the idea. I don't know how he came up with the idea, but it is so strong. And I've seen so many people incorporate this into their magic in so many different ways. I've seen people combine it with any card at any number. I've seen people combine it with toxic style revelations. I've seen people combine it with add a number pads, and there's so many really great ideas out there. But in essence, what we have here with Lightyear is we have a set of cards that fit into your pocket. So it's a great walk around piece because it's almost instantly reset, and they're examinable at the end. You just put them into your pocket and you're good to go. And it makes a great EDC as well. You can just throw them into your bag, throw them into your pocket. And I love the hook that you get with this. You know, I know some magicians don't like having weird and wonderful objects in their magic. For me, I don't have a problem with that at all. You know, I'm a magician. I'm getting booked as a magician. As a magician, you would expect me to have weird and wonderful objects that maybe you've never seen before. I know that if I hire a plumber, they're probably going to have tools in their toolbox that I don't know because I don't know how to plumb. Well, as a magician, I'm sure that there's stuff that I've got that people have never seen before, and this is a perfect example. Just bringing these out has an interesting hook to it. But then when people see what you can do with them, man, game over. And the fact that Kyle has managed to put all this together and have a free choice of a number, because what happens if you don't know is you have them freely name a number and write it down. You don't have to have them say it out loud. And then you show these pieces of black plastic that are just slightly larger than a credit card. And then the idea is that you line them up and you get a phone and you look through the light. And when you do, it lights up. And the dots, the only way that they can actually come together is the number that the person thought of and wrote down. And it's so strong. It's ridiculously strong. It's ridiculously powerful. And it's pretty much self-working. Once you understand the principle and you understand the concept and you understand what's happening here, the whole trick itself is self-working. And I've heard rumors that Kyle has got a stage version and you can put it on stands on a stage and have the light shine through it. And I think that would be the ultimate stage trick. So I'd love to see Penguin potentially bring something like that out in the weeks and months to come, or the years to come. But as it happens, if you haven't got Lightyear yet, it is, you know, Kyle won Creator of the Year for Penguin Magic last year. I think he's a shoo-in to win it again this year because, you know, just with this trick alone, it shows that his creativity is on a level unparalleled by other magicians. This is great. Okay, so in second place, we have Lux by Lloyd Barnes. And look, I know that there's some people that don't like Lux, and that's absolutely fine. I said, and I went on record as said that I think it's one of the best tricks in the last decade. And I think I even said it was the best trick in the last decade. And you know what? At the time I believed that, I genuinely thought through the most of 2022 that Lux would be the best trick on the list. As it happens, it's not. It got pipped at the end of the year. And we'll get to that in a minute. But Lux is still incredible. Matt has seen so much magic in my office. But the trick that he would, if you asked him and said what's the best magic trick he's ever seen, he would say Lux. And he didn't formulate that opinion when he started learning how to do magic. He formulated that opinion as a layperson. He constantly talked about how he had no idea that X went off, how it could possibly go off his hand onto somebody else's hand. He hadn't got a single clue. And then when we started filming the Matchmentary and I started teaching him how to do magic, well, at that point, right then, and I was asking him what magic he'd like to learn, he was like, I really want to learn Lux. I really, really, really want to learn Lux. And we taught it him, and as you can see from the Matchmentary, he's going out and smashing with it. And for good reason. And the reason is, Lux is just incredible. In my opinion, and I know this is going to be a controversial opinion, I think this is better than Double Cross. And the reason I think it's better than Double Cross is because it's completely hands-off from your point of view. You're not having to mark somebody earlier on. You can literally show their hand, draw an X on their hand, they can see it, they can make it disappear themselves, and they can make it appear on your hand themselves, and then you can make it jump back. Now, the people that have said that they're not keen on this, I'd love to know if they've performed this in the real world to real people, because if you have, you'll know what the reaction's like. You saw the episode of the Matchmentary where Matt was going out and performing at Smoke and Mirrors, and you saw him doing Lux to people and getting an incredible reaction. And he did get an incredible reaction, and I get an incredible reaction. Ryland, who does it, gets an incredible reaction. For me, Lux is brilliant. It's one of those things that, first of all, it's the perfect everyday carry because it's literally on your keychain and you just have it there, and when you need it, you can just literally take it off and you're good to go. So it's on your keychain and it's ready to go anytime, anywhere. It's easy to perform. There's lots and lots of different options, and it looks so damn good. It makes you look like Dynamo. It makes you look like David Blaine. It makes you look like a TV magician. And honestly, I've done gigs and I've done Lux and I've done a million other things. And at the end of it, all I've had people say is, oh my God, the one where the X jumped off your hand. Happened to me at a gig just a couple of days ago. A couple of days ago, I was performing at a military base in London. London. And they were raving about Lux. And there's so many different things. And the invisible deck, and I'm just talking about the one routine, but I mean, damn, there's so much you can do with it. The routine with the invisible deck, that's just killer. Where they can literally name any card and it's the only one with an X on it. I mean, how strong is that, right? So, yeah, buy it. It's incredible. It's one of the best tricks of 2022. It's one of the best tricks of the decade, in my opinion. I love it. I have two of them. I have one in my gig bag. I have one on my keychain. It's there on my keychain, and I'm ready to go into this anytime, anywhere. I love it. It's called Lux. Okay, so we're down to the final one. This is the last entry. This is the best trick of 2022. So what is the best trick of 2022? Well, it's an Alakazam trick. It's by Roman Armstrong, and it's called Hard Stretch, and it's come out very, very recently. So what is Hard Stretch? Well, Hard Stretch is a finale to a rubber band routine. What it allows you to do is do any rubber band routine that you want to, and at the end, you take the ring. You might have just done ring on band, ring off band. You give them the ring. They hold on to it. They examine it. They hold on to it. You then take the band and you have them feel it. It's a stretchy rubber band. And then just like that, the band becomes solid. It's still rubber, but it's now solid. It's solidified. And that's because you've made the essence of the rubber band change places with the essence of the coin. And when they look at, the ring, when they look at the ring, it's now a squidgy ring. The ring is rubber and the band is solidified and everything is examinable. If that wasn't enough, you've also got Mini-Me, which in all honesty, I think could have been released as the standalone trick, which is where you take a rubber band and you have it examined, and right in front of their eyes, it breaks into like 1,000 little mini bands, and then those little mini bands link. I mean, it's incredible. And then you have the 2-hour tutorial. And again, I was involved in this tutorial, but it's not my project. But you have the tutorial with Roman Armstrong and myself that makes this whole thing really a project for beginners as well as advanced rubber band workers. My big bugbear in magic is seeing people that say they do rubber band magic and all they do is crazy man's handcuffs, because there is so much more that you can do with rubber bands and crazy man's handcuffs if you do a little bit of research. And I do a lot of rubber band routines. I was lucky enough to be hanging around with Russell Leeds in his heyday when he was like creating all of the crazy rubber band stuff he created. And I learned an awful lot of that, along with a lot of Joe Rhinefleece routines and a bunch of other stuff. And I've learned so much rubber band material. I could do like a 20-minute rubber band act. But this, for me, Hard Stretch, is the thing that rubber band material has been waiting for, which is a finale, an ending. This is to rubber band magic what the Omni deck and the card to wallet is to card workers. This is to rubber band magic what the jumbo coin is to coin workers. This is to rubber band magic what lemons are to cups and balls workers. This is that final moment that makes people just go, wow, that's the end. And you cannot, literally, you cannot go any further than this. When you've done this one moment, you're done. And I remember seeing this and immediately taking it to Alakazam and saying to Pete, you need to speak to Roman, this is incredible. And the reason I told him to go to Alakazam, because honestly, Roman could have sold this to anybody and they would have snapped his hand off. The reason I told him to Alakazam is because I knew Alakazam would turn it around quicker than anyone else. And I wanted this in my act. I wanted to do this. And since the review, I do this in every single walk around gig. And it is really, really strong. You're going to learn a whole bunch of rubber band magic. You're going to learn 2 of Roman's signature tricks. You're going to learn lots of different ways to link rings onto rubber bands and off rubber bands. You're going to learn Crazy Man's handcuffs along with a whole bunch of other routines. This is worth its weight in gold. This, for me, is the best trick of 2022. And this is the trick that out of everything on this list, I'm performing this more than anything else. I love it. So there you go, guys. That's another best of list in the bag. We're done for another year. The best of 2022. The 10 best tricks of 2022. There's going to be a whole bunch of other lists coming up over Christmas, including the worst tricks of 2022 and a whole bunch of other things as well. So keep watching Magic TV. But I want to say very quickly before the end of this video, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for leaving comments. I do this channel, it's a labor of love, and I do this channel because I really want to try and give back to the community. And for everybody who's ever got anything out of any of my videos, thank you so much for watching and interacting. I really appreciate it. I will see you again soon right here on Magic TV. Do me a favor, have a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. And go and buy all of these tricks because they are all absolutely amazing. Thanks for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.